We're all going to be going through a hard time, and I know what we preached this morning, but we're going to face some stuff. So when's the last time you checked on your brother or your sister? Now, I'm not talking about biological. It could be biological, but have you checked on one another? Well, Pastor, that's not my job. I was just appointed Sunday school teacher. Who are you to ask me to go check on so-and-so? There's Christians with that mentality.
That's right.
There's Christians with the mentality of, well, I've been going to the church so long, why should I have to clean toilets, and I'm not getting on this and that and the other. But I don't care what position you hold, we are to be our brother's keeper.
That's right.
Amen. We are to help each other and lift each other up. Now let's go to 1 Samuel 17:15. He was just anointed king, and it says this, but David went and returned from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. And the Philistine, talking about Goliath, drew near morning and evening and presented himself for 40 days. How long are we going to deal with Goliath? You see, we are equipped for battle. We are made overcomers. We are made victorious. But sometimes something comes along and it looks really big and really bad. And what do? We do like the Israelites. We find a foxhole, we find a trench, we find a tent, and we cower in it. Church, we ain't called to be cowards. We ain't called to be hiders. We ain't called to run from the battlefield, because my Bible tells me greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. So I don't care what comes along our way, we are made victorious. Amen. Let the winds blow, let the winds come, and all this other nonsense. But again, my Bible tells me that greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. 40 days has come and gone. That's a long time to be tormented by something. But here comes old David, obeying Daddy. And he's coming along and he's checking on his brothers, and this thing steps out. He begins to make fun, and he begins to mock and carry on like he's been doing. And I'm going to paraphrase it probably the rest of the way. And David's like, who was that fella? I can see the Israelites, he's done stepped out, and David's like, who's that guy? And the Israelites all down here like this right here. Oh, that's Goliath. Shh. We don't want to make him mad. Don't want to upset him. Look at him, man. He's 6 cubits high, 9 cubits high. He's a tall joker. Look at his armor. Look at what he carries. Look at what he wears. David's like, So I believe something began to stir within David. You see, how many's been through something here lately? I know I have. How many times has God brought you through something, but something comes up and we forget what God just brought us through? Amen. You see, I believe the Israelites, somewhere along the line, maybe it was their grandparents, their great-grandparents, they taught them how God brought them through the desert with fire by day, or the fire by night and the cloud by day. I believe Grandma told them about how God fed them manna every day. I believe grandparents told them how God kept their clothes and their shoes and they didn't wear out and they didn't have to go to Walmart. I believe they heard somewhere along the line how God took care of them, and that's how where they're at today. But somewhere along the line, Goliath showed up. And they forget what God's done. And it's so sad today that we have Christians like that. Goliath shows up and we forget how God provided last week, how God moved yesterday. And we go hiding and we cower down. But old David, where's the David within us? He's like, I can take that joker. I can take that. He ain't nothing. And everybody's like, David, what are you talking about? Right. You just a scrawny little thing. You ain't nothing. You ain't trained in war. You ain't got weapons of warfare. He's like, oh, but you don't know what I know. I'm telling you, I'm standing notice today. The enemy don't know what I know. Amen. I know that God will never leave me, never forsake me, but be with me to the very end. Amen. He's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. He is my shield. He is my comforter. He is my all in all. He is I am that I am. Amen. He is what I need him to be. And David knew that. And David's like, that fella ain't nothing. And so they bring him to the king, and David's like, oh, king, I can take care of that joker. The king's like, what are you talking about? Again, you ain't suited for war. You ain't trained with weapons of warfare. What are you talking about? Oh, king, you don't know what I know. You see, when I was on the backside of a hill, he began to remember what God had done for him on the backside of a hill. Church, it's time we start reminding ourselves what God has done for us when we were on the backside of a hill. You see, I remember what God has done for me. It's easy for me to get excited because I remember where I was at on the backside of a hill. I remember being a dope head. I remember being a thief. I remember being addicted to dope and this and that and the other. I know where God's brought me from, but you can't tell me no different because I know that God loves me and he's going to be there. I remember how God's brought me through cancer. I remember when God's brought me through some health stuff, so you can't tell me that this Goliath is no different, because if God took care of me then, he's going to do it today. Amen. Amen. David got excited and he told old king, he said, old king, I was on the backside on a hill watching some old sheep, and this lion showed up, and he tried to take something that was mine. The enemy tried to take something that was yours. Guess what? Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. And David said, I took that thing and I killed it. It's time we start taking the enemy by the throat and taking back what is ours. Amen. I'm tired of seeing Christians walking around here. Oh, woe is me. Woe is me. No, we are victorious. Amen. We are made overcomers. It's time we stand up and we fight like David. I'm telling you, we are made overcomers. Amen. Yes. King says, oh, that's good, David. I'm glad you killed that bear or that lion. He said, oh, king, but that ain't all. Just a 16-year-old kid. He said, oh, king, but that ain't all. Just a few days after that, a bear showed up. And I've done the same thing to him. And that man that stands out there, he ain't no different, because if God protect me from a lion, if God protect me from a bear, surely he'll protect me from a Goliath. Amen. And Saul says, okay, that's what you want to do. You have that. But here, put on my armor. Uh-oh. Put on my armor. So often we try to walk in somebody else's anointing. And it don't work. We got to walk in our own anointing. Amen. And David's like, no, this ain't going to work. I can't move. I can't see. I can't tell what's going on. King, you just let me handle this. Me and God's got this. King says, all right, have your way. David goes down by the brook and he gets him 5 stones, puts them in his little pouch, and he goes and faces Goliath. Them stones are important. So often we get excited because Goliath was killed with a stone. Yeah, that's a great feat. But them stones can be looked at as puny or not important or not big enough. I don't care what's in your satchel. You could have just a little prayer. You better use it. Amen. You might have just a little word. You better use it. Amen. You might have just a little something, but you better take it out and use it. Amen. Because God's anointed it and he can do more with it if we put it in his hands. Amen. Right. So David goes on the battlefield and he begins to confront Goliath. And Goliath, we know he makes fun of him. And David's like, oh, Goliath, you know what? I'm going to take your sword. I'm going to chop your head off with it.
Come on.
I'm going to feed your flesh to the fowls of the air. Some pretty big words from a young man.
Yeah.
A scrawny nothing. But remember, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Amen.
Right.
And I said this morning, I believe it ain't wrote down nowhere. But it's time we get a pep in our step. It's time we get our song back. It's time we get our joy back. And I believe David was going on the battlefield singing, victory is mine. Victory. He was already claiming it. He didn't know how God was going to work it out. He just knew God was going to do it. And he was claiming what was his. Amen. Victory was already his. And he puts that little stone in that sling. And round and round it went.
Yes.
And it takes off. And the only place that it would have worked was a little spot on his forehead. I don't care what your enemy looks like. Every enemy has a weakness. And it hit him square in the forehead. Now, if I was to bring somebody up here and I'd hit them in the forehead, which way would they fall? They'd fall backwards. But I like this. It says Goliath fell face first. In other words, he was bowing before God. Your enemy will have to bow before God. My Bible says one day every knee shall bow.
Yeah.
And every tongue confess that he is Lord. Amen.
Amen.
And although Goliath didn't proclaim it, I believe wholeheartedly that's what it was representing. Their enemy was bowing before God. David walks over and he grabs that sword and he lobs Goliath's head off. And he holds it up and he comes back to King. He says, "Oh King, look what I've got." Amen. So the thing that was meant to destroy you can be used to kill your enemy. Because my Bible tells me no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Don't mean it ain't going to come. It just ain't going to win. Amen. If we choose. Amen. David wasn't worried about what his brothers were going to say. He wasn't worried what the captains were going to say. He wasn't worried what the military was going to say. He just knew what was in his heart.
That's right.
Amen. So often we see something going on and we want to go take care of it, or we want to move, or we want to go pray for somebody, but then we get, well, what is everybody going to say? What is everybody going to think if I get up and I go do such and such? No, maybe you're somebody's David to their Goliath. Amen. So don't be afraid to do what God tells you to do.
Amen.
And in the end, he sent all the Philistine army running, and Goliath's 4 other brothers. Just because one simple act of obedience.
Yeah.
What can we accomplish if we're just obedient and we let God be God? Amen.
Amen.
Let's quit cowering. Let's quit hiding. Let's quit running.
Jesus.
And let's take our stand. Amen.
Yes, Lord.
We are made overcomers. I can't express that enough. We are made victorious. If we begin to realize, again, it goes back to the message, the God we serve. Amen. I didn't bring my notebook, dang it. But God told Moses in the burning bush, Moses asked God, "God, what do I tell the people when I go tell them who sent me?" And God says, "You tell them I am that I am sent you." God will be what we need Him to be. Amen. We don't have to do this thing on our own. I don't care what the situation looks like. Look at the disciples. God told the disciples, let's go to the other side. He done commanded that we're going to be going to the other side. Amen. And I believe that Jesus knew that the storm was going to come up. And He sent them on their way and a storm rose up. Now they had been walking with Jesus for some time. They'd seen Him heal the sick. They'd seen him raise the dead. They'd seen him heal the blind. They'd seen the miracles of what Jesus could do. But something come up. And what happened? They become afraid.
Amen.
And then not only that, they seen a figure walking out on the water. Like, oh man, what if that's a ghost? Old Peter says, Lord, if that's you, bid me to come. He wasn't worried about the storm. Jesus says, come. Here goes Peter walking on the water.
Yes, he did.
Let's not worry about the storm, because we can walk over it, amen. God's going to give us the strength. Oh, brother, you don't know what I'm going through. The sky is black, the lightning's striking, thunder's rolling, the rains are flooding in. God is still God.
Yes, he is.
And let me tell you something. If He's in your heart, He's with you.
Amen.
Brother, how can you tell me that? Because disciples, again, they were on a boat going somewhere. Jesus got comfy and took him a nap. And a storm rose up. And they become frightened. Again, they had seen the miracles of Jesus. They'd seen him feed the 5,000. Church, I just want us to know that God is with us and He's going to take care of us and He's going to help us. Yes, we may have to fight, and yes, all we might have is just a little stone, but God will take care of us. He can do more with that stone if we just allow Him to. It don't matter what you got, just use it.
Yes.
But the storm come up, and the disciples got afraid, and they went and woke Jesus. They said, do you not care that we perish? We hear that sermon a lot, don't we? But something we overlook is, guess what? Jesus was in the same boat with them. We catch that? Jesus was in the same boat with them, taking a nap in the very same storm.
That's right.
Jesus wasn't worried about it.
Yeah.
And He says, oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of perverse generation. How much longer do I got to put up with y'all? How long do I got to put up with y'all? You've seen what I can do. You've seen what my Father can do. And yet this is what you got. Jesus steps out and He speaks to the storm. Amen. That same God dwells within us.
That's
if
right.
we have Him. Amen.
Amen.
So I don't care the storm. I don't care the Goliath. God is God.
Yes, He is.
Amen. And all we got to do is trust Him and believe in Him. The Bible says to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. That's all we got to do. Amen. That's it. Y'all stand this evening.
Thank you, Lord.